Let's talk about our CougarBoard question of the week. If you're not familiar with CougarBoard, it's the largest online community of BYU fans, thousands of posts daily. And we do a CougarBoard question of the week every week on the show, and we appreciate these. Our CougarBoard question of the week this week comes from Curdy. This is one of their insider subscribers. And he asked this, and I'm going to throw this out to you, and then I'll comment on it. How well do you think Kingsley will do for the Kansas City Chiefs? How much playing time would you expect him to get as a rookie?
So I don't know like the roster and that makeup, so I can't really give too much with that. But I mean, typically, if you are drafted the first, second, or third round, you're gonna probably play. I would even say, especially if you're an offensive lineman in the first, second round, you're probably gonna play, just kind of by default, right? Like money wise and need. If you're drafting somebody, in that position in those 2 rounds, there's a pretty strong need there. So I would assume, in that case, he would. As far as how well he'll do, he's going into a program or a franchise that, is going to demand greatness for him. Look at what they did, as much as I hate to say it, because they beat my 49ers last year. But I mean, arguably, you're talking about, one of the greatest quarterbacks, that will ever play when it's probably said and done. So when you go into those type of programs or those teams, like you just naturally raise your level of play, because everybody's dialed in, and you don't want to be that guy, right? Yeah. You don't want to be the weakest link. So I think just the atmosphere that he's going to go in, that Andy Reid has created, and the culture that's established, which is a winning culture. Usually winning cultures breed, winners. So I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Bilo. And Kingsley's one of the most physically gifted guys I've ever seen at that position. Like, first of all, if you see him in isolation, so if you just took a picture of him and he just had on like basketball shorts and no shirt, you would never imagine that he weighs 320 pounds, right? Because he's lean. He's built like a linebacker.
He's not a fat 320.
No. And the dude is ridiculously mobile for how big he is. So he's powerful. He's explosive. He's mobile. He's gigantic.
Yeah.
So in terms of dimensions for NFL starting tackles, he's it. He's the prototypical what you do. The fact that he goes to the Chiefs, where they have a phenomenal offensive line coach, where there's so much veteran leadership that they just demand work ethic and that you learn what you're doing, he has no chance but to be anything but really good.
Yeah, I think he has to try to fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has to try to
he's not going to, because he'll raise his level, as you mentioned, and physically, he's just a freak.
Right.
And so freaks with discipline, that's the story.
It's not fair.
That's right there.
I feel like with guys like him, God was just there's a assembly line of his creation. He's like but when guys like him, he actually stopped and took his time, and you know what I mean. I feel like that's the type of athlete that he is.
Yes.